Hello summoners, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're gonna talk about Stryfe and Abyss of Legends. But before we do that, I wanna talk about the like button because it is a pretty cool looking button, and if we can get 100 likes on this video, then I am going to do a live Abyss testing stream for Stryfe, and that would be pretty cool time. So yeah, coming back to again Abyss of Legends, Stryfe, if you don't have Aegon or if you are thinking about the future of the game and how Stryfe would do there, this guy is really good for Abyss of Legends, and this fight is going to be a pretty decent example. So I am going to talk about how you build him up, his abilities. There is a really sick Medusa fight where you can actually see his utility. In the first fight, it's mostly we're just going to see the damage, but against Medusa, she gets unstoppable, and whenever she does that, we're gonna hit her, and the unstoppable would just disappear, and she will become passively stunned. So that is a really good time. And also, when she auto blocks, we will become unblockable, which is again very cool because you can't really auto block an unblockable attack. So yeah. Here, as you can see, so far, I guess you wouldn't be too impressed. This is rank 3 6-star boosted Stryfe as a Horseman of Apocalypse. If you want to see some non-Horseman, non-boosted gameplay, then I do have a Labyrinth video, you can check that out. But here, again, not the best start, but ideally you want to get Shock, and how you do that? Use SP1. Now you can refresh this Shock whenever you use a medium attack or a heavy attack, as you can see here. And while you have this shock up, the SP2 damage is increased. I don't really remember by how much, but it is a pretty noticeable difference. And you're going to see the SP2, this is where things start getting a little bit impressive. And look at that damage. Even if things doesn't crit, you also have red damage, you have a lot of hits and a lot of damage there. If you saw the intro, the first some short clips, if that SP2 has some decent RNG with crits, then you can just do some ridiculous damage. And if you are interested to hear how he performs in medium level fights like Act 6, Act 7 variants, then basically once you build him up, you have a shock on the opponent, you go for SP2, most fights are just finished at that point. So yeah, he is pretty good for that kind of stuff as well. He won't be great for shorter fights like, let's say, Alliance Quest, maybe in incursions if you can build him up, but he doesn't really have a regeneration. He does have a safety net of glancing, but that also consumes his charges. While building him up, it is a little bit annoying. If you get hit, you lose the charges, but then the opponent's attack glances, so that does make him a little bit tanky, I guess. Also, I should mention that whenever the CCP early reviews came out, first of all, I don't get to keep this guy, this is the CCP beta. Second of all, whenever these kind of things come out, we have I haven't seen that much gameplay so far because we weren't allowed to post it yet. So I still don't know that if I am playing him correctly, but so far, first of all, I was not really paying attention to shock, but I then found out that is a really important part of playing Stryfe. So stuff like that could happen, and eventually once the characters become more available and people start finding different rotations that no one knew about before, so that kind of stuff also can happen at any time. But again, talking more about Stryfe in detail, keeping up the shock usually is not too stressful, but at the same time, if the opponent is not throwing special attack or they have a very long animation, then that could be annoying, and I have definitely lost the shock a few times. But you still have the damage, it is stored in the persistent charges and stuff, so you just have to basically use one SP one more. And this fight is 100% soloable. Cameron, he did it with unawakened Stryfe. He built him up fully in this fight, all 100 charges, and then soloed this Omega Red. And you'll see, let me not talk about if this fight is a solo or not, but I just want you to know that he is very much capable of soloing Abyss of Legends fights. And we have another again Medusa fight after this. It is we have 5 minutes in, so let me talk about the build up. Here you saw like I got hit, but it glanced, so we are all good. And this is not a situation you ideally want to be in against Omega Red. And I used SP1, created some distance, got the shock on. Now we're glancing, and again, let me finally talk about build up. So how do you do that? There are two ways. First of all is heavy attack. The second is by missing attacks after the SP1. When you have the cloak thing on, you're just phasing like ghosts. And ideally you want to use both. There is some synergy where he just starts with glancing. That is pretty good. It makes building him up much easier. Overall, his build up, if you compare it to sabretooth, I'd say it's much cheaper. If you compare it to Aegon, I'd say it's much quicker. So there are these two things. But overall, I really like this guy. And the heavy method, basically it depends on how much power you have. The higher your power, the better chance you have to gain a charge on your heavy. And at 3 bars of power, it's basically a guarantee. And then once you have 20 charges, you go for SP3, you get 25 stored, you get bonus 5. And then you basically do all of this again. You can store up to 100 charges, then you can also gain 20 more, and if you do, then you are fully unblockable, basically like Aegon at a 999 combo, but that cannot be carried to the next fight. So here I died, and he was at like 1% health. That was just so annoying. And I recently did my initial path on the live server. I haven't soloed that many Abyss fights. Like basically so far I soloed Mephisto and I soloed Collapsidian, so that was 2, and Omega Red would have been a pretty cool solo. I've also soloed like the first thing with Cable, but anyways, speaking of Cable, I want to talk about the synergy team. So ideally you do want this guy as a horseman. If you're using him, he doesn't need it, he benefits a lot from it. He doesn't need suicide at all. Like he doesn't benefit much from it, from what I've heard, because he already has just a lot of attack. But horseman, because that is the prowess thing, that does definitely help him a lot. So that is what you want to do in the start of the fight. Just gain as much charges as you want. And again, we're going to talk about the utility of Stryfe once things happen. So here we auto blocked and we didn't get unblockable. Not sure how exactly that works, but you're going to see that we will become unblockable a few times here. But I was talking about the synergy team. So here, like you can see, we were unblockable. It is again a passive unblockable from what I see, so that is pretty cool. But I want to talk about the practicality, because Abyss is not just bring any high DPS character. That's you want specific counters for a lot of fights, and I think it is pretty practical to bring this guy in with Cable and Apocalypse. First of all, Cable himself, like as long as you have Apocalypse on this team, he's great in Abyss of Legends. He can solo a bunch of fights. His DPS is just basically just ridiculous, and there are very few degeneration immune characters in this game. You can parry, just spam those heavies and you're good to go basically. Then you have Stryfe. Again, once you build him up, great character for Abyss of Legends. Then you have Apocalypse, which mostly he will be there for synergies, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how good he will be. He's a very good character, but in fights like this long, I'm not sure how good he would be. But then you can bring in a mystic character like Dr. Doom, Symbol Supreme, for those fights. And then you have a slot for maybe Void or Human Torch. So I think it is a very practical team that can get it done if you don't have Aegon. Collector would be the biggest problem. This guy is not, like, again, I haven't done a full run, but people have, and they said that he is not the best against the Collector, because again, he like, no matter how much you build him up, he doesn't start the next fight unblockable. He has to get all those charges. And against the Collector, if you have fought him in Abyss of Legends, then you would know that that is just not something that you are going to do, and like building up all the charges there, not really practical. So you do want to be so like basically he still does some decent damage there, but he's not the best option by any means. I would say maybe even Corvus would be better. Again, I haven't done it, so I can't really say for sure, but yeah. And here again, as you can see, you have probably seen, I missed it, but whenever she has a timer thing besides the shock, and whenever that runs out, she becomes unstoppable. It's about to happen, let's see. And then now when we hit her, like, passive stun procs, so that is pretty nice. It is a good utility to have. I think Karaj and Mike will be uploading a video of the 6.2 champion boss solo, so I'm excited to see that. I haven't used him much in Act 6. I just tested him out in a few fights, but haven't really taken him against some big bosses, just mostly been testing him in Labyrinth and Abyss. So do let me know if you want me to see him in action in some other content. There, being a Horseman saved me so much. And we also have like, we didn't take much damage at all. Talk about sustainability, like taking a full SP2 from Medusa in Abyss of Legends and barely losing any health. Like, talk about sustainability there. And yeah, overall I didn't manage the shock very well. I got clipped, used some of my charges. I didn't get unblockable, like the permanent unblockable at all. So not the best fight, which is the reason we will be running out of charges at the end, and it will be very close to solo. It will end at 1% again. It's just so crazy. I also tried him with Quake, and again he works. Quake just has like 5 million plus health, so that is just not. It takes a few revives. Even with Aegon, it will take revives. But comparing him to Aegon, I think both different characters bring different utility to the table and a lot of damage. Of course, he doesn't have like, he doesn't crit as often. When he does, he hits pretty hard, and the SP2 just has a lot of damage. But overall, that is where the similarity basically ends. The fact that his attack increases, and you can carry that to the next fight. After that, there's just different characters. Even though mutant class is already stacked, I think Stryfe is a character you should probably go for in arena or crystals. And yeah, I think 2021 started off with an amazing character there. So we are about to be at a point where we are going to run out of charges. 1 SP2 here, it was just really crazy. It was the first clip of this video at the starting, and 2 of the big parts of the SP2 crit, so it was just a lot of damage. And yeah, again, do let me know if you want me to test him against some particular fights. Again, if we get 100 likes on this video, a best stream is coming and we can test him together there, so that would be pretty cool. And we're also really close to 3,000 subscribers, and I'm hoping to hit that goal before January ends. So if you are not subscribed yet and you have watched 12 minutes 50 seconds of my video, then do consider subscribing that button. We upload video every single day. So that is going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Like this video, share with your alliance, and bye bye. Stay safe. I was lying, I didn't go because I want to talk about what happened here. So I ran out of charges. She's unblockable, she's gaining a lot of power. We got to SP2. I'm going to hit it and it will crit a little bit. She blocks the end part, otherwise she would go down. And yeah, we died. But it was ridiculous. That would have been so cool if these 2 fights would have been solos, and this video would be like 100 times better. But look at that, 7,000 health left. Like, I really wanted to get that solo. And yeah, no, this time for legit. Bye bye and stay safe, guys. Have a good fun.